Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt, is a name synonymous with beauty, power and tragedy. Cleopatra ascended to the throne at 18, co-ruling with her brother Ptolemy XIII. She famously smuggled herself into Julius Caesar's presence, gaining his support to reclaim her throne. Cleopatra's life and reign have been shrouded in myth and speculation for centuries. Cleopatra VII was born in 69 BC, the descendant of a dynasty teetering on collapse. Growing up in Alexandria, Cleopatra witnessed the fragility of her dynasty's hold on power. Upon their father's death, Cleopatra and Ptolemy XIII ascended to the throne. Cleopatra, recognizing the potential of a Roman alliance, famously smuggled herself into Caesar's presence. Cleopatra's decision to align with Caesar was a calculated risk. The siege of Alexandria culminated in a decisive naval battle securing Cleopatra's throne. With Caesar as her consort, Cleopatra's position seemed secure. She embraced her Egyptian heritage, styling herself as the living embodiment of the goddess Isis. Cleopatra's reign was marked by peace and prosperity. She embarked on ambitious construction projects and implemented agricultural reforms. Cleopatra's relationship with Caesar went beyond political expediency. The rise of Mark Antony presented Cleopatra with both an opportunity and a risk. Cleopatra's relationship with Mark Antony was a complex tapestry of political ambition and genuine affection. Their alliance, formalized in 41 BC, was more akin to a royal marriage than a simple political pact. In 34 BC, Antony, eager to solidify his alliance with Cleopatra and perhaps fueled by a desire to emulate the grandeur of Alexander the Great, staged a lavish ceremony in Alexandria known as the Donations of Alexandria. This event, a calculated display of power and propaganda, would prove to be a pivotal and ultimately disastrous miscalculation. During the ceremony, held in the Grand Theatre of Alexandria before a crowd of dignitaries and foreign ambassadors, Antony bestowed upon Cleopatra and her children a vast swathe of territories, including Cyprus, Crete, Cyrene, and parts of Syria and Judea. These territories, already under Cleopatra's de facto control, were now formally recognized as hers and her children's by right, a move that enraged the Roman Senate. Antony's motivations for the Donations of Alexandria remain a subject of historical debate. Some scholars argue that he was simply recognizing Cleopatra's existing authority over these territories, while others believe he was attempting to create a new power base in the East, a rival to Rome itself. Whatever his intentions, the Donations of Alexandria backfired spectacularly. The Roman public, already suspicious of Cleopatra's influence over Antony, viewed the donations as an act of treason. Octavian, Antony's rival for power in Rome, skillfully exploited the situation, using it to turn public opinion against Antony and portray him as a puppet in the hands of a foreign queen. The Donations of Alexandria, intended to solidify Antony and Cleopatra's power, instead set in motion a chain of events that would lead to their downfall. The Donations of Alexandria proved to be a turning point in the relationship between Antony and Cleopatra. Octavian seized upon the event to portray Antony as a traitor to Rome. He had been steadily consolidating his power base in Rome. The Roman Senate, influenced by Octavian's propaganda, declared war on Cleopatra, effectively declaring war on Antony as well. The stage was set for a final epic clash. History, as the saying goes, is written by the victors. The Romans, especially Octavian, discredited Cleopatra to justify their conquest. Roman propaganda painted Cleopatra as a manipulative seductress. This image influenced art, literature and film for centuries. Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra portrays her as a tragic heroine. This obscures her true reign and accomplishments. Cleopatra was a skilled politician and diplomat. She fought to preserve her dynasty and kingdom. To understand Cleopatra, we must peel back the layers of myth and propaganda. Beyond the exotic allure, Cleopatra's political acumen. Cleopatra's detractors, both ancient and modern, often focus on her romantic entanglements with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, reducing her to a mere love interest in a male-dominated historical narrative. This narrow focus on her personal life obscures her considerable political acumen and her achievements as a ruler in her own right. Cleopatra ascended to the throne at a time of great upheaval and uncertainty for Egypt. The Ptolemaic dynasty was in decline, beset by internal strife, economic instability, and the ever-present threat of Roman intervention. Cleopatra, however, proved to be a shrewd and resourceful ruler, adept at playing the game of power politics and securing advantageous alliances. Her decision to align herself with Julius Caesar, for example, was a calculated gamble that paid off handsomely, at least in the short term. She recognized Caesar's ambition and his vulnerability, using her intelligence, charm and knowledge of Egyptian affairs to secure his support and regain her throne. This alliance, while controversial, provided Egypt with a much-needed respite from internal strife and allowed Cleopatra to consolidate her power. Similarly, her relationship with Mark Antony, while undoubtedly fueled by mutual attraction and affection, was also a strategic alliance that allowed Cleopatra to advance her own interests and those of her kingdom. She skillfully played to Antony's ego and his ambitions, securing his military support and reclaiming lost Egyptian territories. Reclaiming her narrative, a legacy re-examined. Cleopatra's legacy is a complex and often contradictory one, shaped as much by myth and propaganda as by historical fact. She has been romanticized as a tragic heroine, demonized as a manipulative seductress, and often reduced to a footnote in the grand narrative of Roman history. It is time to reclaim her narrative, to see Cleopatra not simply as an object of fascination or scorn, but as a complex and compelling historical figure who deserves to be judged on her own merits. Cleopatra was a product of her time, a ruler who inherited a kingdom in decline and who used all the tools at her disposal, including her intelligence, her charisma and, yes, her sexuality, to navigate the treacherous currents of Roman politics. She was a woman in a man's world, yet she refused to be relegated to the sidelines of history. Cleopatra's story is a reminder that history is not simply a linear narrative of progress, but a messy and often tragic tapestry woven from ambition, betrayal, love, and loss. It is a story that continues to resonate today, challenging us to reconsider our assumptions about power, gender, and the enduring allure of the past. By examining Cleopatra's life and reign through a critical lens, we can begin to appreciate the true complexity of this remarkable woman and her enduring legacy. The Battle of Actium, the tide turns. The year 31 BC marked a turning point for Cleopatra and Mark Antony. The Battle of Actium, fought off Greece's western coast, was unprecedented in scale and ferocity. Antony's fleet faced Octavian's disciplined forces, led by Agrippa. Cleopatra's presence was controversial and a strategic liability. The battle raged for hours, testing both sides' naval prowess. As Antony's fleet neared defeat, Cleopatra fled back to Egypt. Cleopatra's flight from Actium, while perhaps tactically sound, proved to be a political disaster. It played directly into Octavian's hands, confirming his accusations that she was a treacherous and unreliable ally who had abandoned Antony in his hour of need. Antony, his fleet shattered and his reputation in tatters, followed Cleopatra back to Egypt, his dreams of ruling the Roman world alongside his Egyptian queen lying in ruins. With Octavian's forces poised to invade Egypt, Cleopatra and Antony found themselves trapped in Alexandria, their fate sealed. Antony, his spirit broken by defeat and betrayal, committed suicide, falling on his own sword. Cleopatra, facing the prospect of humiliation and imprisonment at the hands of the triumphant Octavian, chose a different end. In August of 30 BC, at the age of 39, Cleopatra took her own life, reportedly by allowing an asp, a venomous Egyptian cobra, to bite her. The circumstances of her death, like many aspects of her life, remain shrouded in mystery and speculation. Some accounts claim she died in Antony's arms, while others suggest she was captured by Octavian's forces and forced to take her own life. Whatever the truth of her final moments, Cleopatra's death marked the end of an era. With her passing, the Ptolemaic dynasty, which had ruled Egypt for nearly 3 centuries, came to an end. Egypt, once a proud and independent kingdom, was absorbed into the expanding Roman Empire, its vast wealth and resources now fueling the ambitions of the Caesars. Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt, met her end not on the battlefield but in the quiet solitude of her chambers. Her death, shrouded in mystery and myth, marked the end of an era, the eclipse of an ancient civilization by the rising power of Rome. Yet even in death, Cleopatra refused to be silenced. Her story has resonated through the centuries, captivating imaginations and inspiring artists. Cleopatra's allure lies in her beauty, intelligence, and political acumen. It is the enduring power of her story that fascinates us. Even today, Cleopatra continues to intrigue, her story retold in countless books, plays, and films. Separating fact from fiction when it comes to Cleopatra is no easy task. Roman historians portrayed Cleopatra as a manipulative seductress to justify their conquest. These portrayals have shaped Western perceptions for centuries. Modern historians challenge these views, reconstructing a nuanced picture of Cleopatra. They argue she was a highly educated and astute ruler. Cleopatra deserves to be judged on her own merits, not Roman propaganda. Cleopatra's story, though rooted in the distant past, continues to resonate with audiences today for a multitude of reasons. Her struggle to maintain her independence in the face of Roman imperialism, her navigation of the complexities of power and gender in a male-dominated world, and her ultimate sacrifice for her kingdom continue to hold relevance in our modern world grappling with similar issues. Cleopatra's story reminds us that the past is not a static, monolithic entity, but a tapestry woven from multiple perspectives, interpretations, and biases. Her story challenges us to question the narratives that have been passed down through history, to seek out alternative voices and perspectives, and to recognize that history is often written by the victors. Moreover, Cleopatra's story speaks to the enduring power of human resilience in the face of adversity. She faced numerous challenges during her reign, from internal strife and rebellion to foreign invasion and the ever-present threat of Roman domination. Yet she never gave up, always fighting for what she believed in, for her kingdom, her people, and her legacy. Cleopatra's story is a reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, hope and determination can prevail. Her legacy continues to inspire us to challenge the status quo, to fight for what we believe in, and to never give up on our dreams, no matter how audacious they may seem. In a world often defined by cynicism and despair, Cleopatra's story offers a timeless message of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit.